It's spooky season, bitches. What am I doing with my life? I'm Jordan Snead, and welcome to my evil lair. This is my favorite time of year, mainly because I get to force my year-round love of horror movies onto all of my friends, as they will all surely tell you. You know, I didn't like anything scary as a kid, but over the past few years, I became more open to horror, and now I just can't get enough of it.
Nothing can satiate the overwhelming bloodlust that courses through my veins.
Early on, I was super picky about what I watched. I only watched the artsy-fartsy stuff, like a good little film buff. You know the ones, the slow burns, the allegorical films, the art house horror. And don't get me wrong, I still love those kinds of movies. It Follows single-handedly got me into horror, and movies like Hereditary and The Witch expanded on what the genre could even be to me. But after a swift slap on my tits, I realized that horror doesn't have to be good to be good. And what do I mean by that? Well, horror conventions, whether you're watching a movie about cults, killers, or clowns that may or may not also have ghouls, ghosts, or gore, well, they're so well known that even if you don't really watch horror movies, chances are you have a lot of these cliches down in your Brian. And with the rise of independent film in the 70s and 80s, and the low, and I mean budgets of horror overall, there are a ton of easily digestible horror movies vying for your attention. Most of them are what I like to call, and this will be on the test, garbage. However, even bad films can have their merits, whether they're the hilarious, so bad it's good kind of films, or if it's just that the voyeuristic visuals are enough to keep you entertained. Some of my favorite horror films are questionable at best and deplorable at worst. I love movies like the recent Tusk or old 80s schlock movies like Chopping Mall. Chopping Mall, it follows this group of dumb teens like every other horror film who all work at a high-tech shopping mall and become trapped inside overnight with deadly robots, all because they wanted to party and bone down in a furniture store. It's absurd. But our main feature tonight, my little ghouls and goblins, is something a little smaller. I'm going to talk about this little movie that I found on Amazon Prime that, as far as I can tell, is just made by one guy, and it's simply titled Bad Ben. Bad Ben, directed by and starring Nigel Bach, follows the tale of one very Midwestern-sounding Jersey man, Tom Riley, who buys a house at a sheriff's sale, and he struggles to flip the house as unexplainable things start happening inside. Here's the shtick. The entire film is shot on either Tom's cell phone or the unreasonable amount of security cameras that he found in the house on his arrival. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's right, we have found footage! Okay, so this very independent feature has a pretty bland and uninspired premise. Surely that means you can't get much out of this movie, right? Au contraire, good found footage is hard to come by. But great found footage, I don't know if it gets much better than this. While this movie doesn't bring anything new to the found footage genre to try to fix the inherent problems with it, you watch this film just because of the pure joy Nigel Bach brings through his character, and just how much he has to go through trying to live in this house. I'm gonna run through the whole movie, so there will be spoilers for Bad Ben throughout this video, but do you really need to worry about that? After a disclaimer about how graphic the film is, we are given an opening crawl that tells us who Tom Riley is and how he got his house from a sheriff's sale, and that all the footage we see is not doctored. Smash cut 2.
I'm on my way from settlement on the house on Steelmanville Road. Bought at a sheriff's sale. How do I flip this thing around?
All right, Nigel, what are we thinking for the establishing shot of the movie? What are we trying to accomplish here? We got to set the tone for the whole piece. It's gonna tell us where we are. What's happening? Well, gee, I was just thinking I was gonna do my fucking face. After about 30 seconds of him driving, we were introduced to the house on Steelmanville Road, where Tom once again reminds us about the
sheriff's sale. Not bad for a sheriff's sale, huh?
Now, I'm not ashamed to admit that the main appeal of this movie is this guy here, Tom Riley. I mean, it could just be that this guy's voice is funny, and maybe that's why I laugh so hard at this damn movie.
Why would they take their personal belongings with them? Obviously a religious bunch.
You might have noticed that today for Halloween, I am dressed like our hero Tom Riley. I got my hoodie on, I got my dad jeans, I'm ready to go. Tom goes inside and finds horror cliches strewn across the room. Power's out. The last family didn't take their shit and left fast. Christian memorabilia on the walls, Robo Sapien. You dig? Tom gets happy at the idea of selling all their stuff and calls the power company before giving us a big
Okay.
and then he proceeds to dump all the religious iconography into the trash.
That's the oldest Bible I've ever seen. I'm also going to get rid of these signs of religion so that this house I'm going to flip is politically correct.
That's the oldest Bible you've ever seen, Tom? But because it's not PC, it's not worth hard cash, Tom, you sunk your fortune into this place. After a nice and I'm sure lonely dinner, old Tom is here for the weekend, baby. But the door's wide open. The lights come on their own.
Fuck, did I leave that open?
Ooky spooky. All the furniture has been thrown around and disorganized. Well, at least as much as Nigel Bot could do by himself in his own home. Something scary's downstairs. Oh, what could it be?
Hello?
And then we cut to the next day with Tom just pacing on the phone. Now we finally get to see the security cameras that the previous owners installed come online. Tom's clearly worried about people breaking into his home now. What follows is a mundane phone conversation and Tom going around to check every single camera out individually. I guess just for us to see. At least I'm not about to vomit anymore. We actually get a nice couple spooks here and there until we get...
Hey, god damn it!
After finding nothing, he once again calls his buddy to explain to us how the cameras are going to work throughout the rest of this movie, and the door just closes behind him. But in the lore of Bad Ben, is he not supposed to be watching the same camera we are right now? Why is he just watching himself? Why didn't he notice the door? Before too long, it's night again. And what do you know? The power goes out. Again. I'm going to be using the word again a lot here. I'm slowly realizing that most of this movie is just the same shit happening over and over and over again. But for some reason, I still love it. As Tom fumbles around in the dark, we get night vision. Not only on the security cameras, but on his iPhone. Listen, Nigel, I can throw on a green filter and ooh, suddenly it's night in here. I can't see anything. Oh, what's going on? We get an eerie look around all the... Wait, is that just a still image of the front of the house? Ain't nothing moving there. What follows is a 7-minute sequence of Tom just walking around the house until the lights come back on. And it doesn't build any tension, and it doesn't lead to anything, but it ends with...
Fucking stinks. Yeah, Merry fucking Christmas.
So we have an idea there's some dead shit around here somewhere. Great, moving on. The next day, Tom shows us around the property some more as the movie begins to feel more like a live real estate tour. I guess that could be what his goal is with these phone videos, or maybe he's just a vlogger. After showing off his lawnmower he can sell and his damn AC.
I gotta change my estimate for what I can get selling shit they left behind. This is a powerful air conditioner, folks.
Tom takes us out to the back of the property to show us the nice shed, the nice woods, the nice marsh, and ooh, a shallow grave.
I don't know if you can see that, but it says Ben in this thing. That's going on eBay right there.
Tom finds the grave of what he calls the family pet, Ben, and immediately proceeds to desecrate it.
Unfortunately, I don't want anybody finding this shit back here. So... getting rid of all that.
I hope that you like that Fisher-Price rendition of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, because you're going to be hearing it a lot when you watch this movie. That night, the
Shadow Boys
return and turn on every light in the fucking house, make some noise, and yeah, that's about it. Tom laments some more about the death of his lawnmower battery.
Come on!
And he finally finds the keys to his own damn shed, and then he gives us this gem.
I don't know why I feel the need to document every moment of my life.
Yeah, I don't know either, buddy.
Somebody won a few trophies. Oh shit. When you find a graveyard in the backyard, this is not what you want to find.
Yeah, Tom, I wouldn't want to find a shovel in someone else's shed either. I mean, that's the last f***ing thing. Tom finds some bloody shit, a baby photo, a box of knives.
Oh, that's great. No wonder I couldn't find a knife in the house.
Yeah, I don't know. As to be expected, Tom doesn't call the police immediately. I know you want to sell this place pretty bad, but I mean, come on, man. Dead baby. Tom later finds out from a security camera guy that all the shit that happened on move-in was done without anyone breaking into the house. Here we actually get a nice horror scene where Tom reviews the footage while the ghost creeps up behind him. And then once Tom sees what is happening, he's got a f***ing axe. God, I just love how determined this middle-aged man is to not let any of these real ghosts get in the way of his money. It's one of my favorite things about this movie.
I know you're in here. Mom, Dad, is this you?
Okay, I don't know how to unpack that.
Why are you doing this to me? I'm not scared, I'm a Christian.
Is that so, Tom? Is that why you chucked that Bible earlier? Tom hunts around for the ghost, and then we get one of my favorite scenes.
Stop it.
Tom finds some ugly purple color issues near the locked basement door, and then tells us he's been talking to the damn Fisher-Price toy.
Remember this? But watch what happens. Are you Ben's toy? Ben, are you here right now? Ooh. Ben, were you a dog? Were you a cat? Were you a family pet? Ben, were you a human?
That's a man.
He finds that Ben is the son of the couple that last lived here. Shocking, I know. Tom's red face tells us how he's going to proceed, and he's just so indifferent to the fact that he has real evidence of real ghosts.
But on the other hand, having ghosts or spirits in the house is a little bit creepy, and it's not going to exactly make it easy to sell.
It kills me. He's just like, oh yep, this is my life now. I've still got to sell this house. Tom finds out online that the couple that last lived here were murdered on site and no one told him ahead of time. Understandably, he becomes just a skosh frustrated.
Yes, I know what caveat emptor means. Do you know what go fuck yourself means? Fuck you, you fucking whore! God damn it!
But Tom's got to keep fixing up the house, so he mows, finds the shallow grave dug up, and proceeds to do nothing. He then says he has to go clean the attic to get the death smell out, and I just love this man's gumption. He just keeps pushing. Like, yeah, this film is mostly a man doing mundane shit to fix up his house so he can sell it, and it just happens to be haunted. But somehow that makes it feel more real as a found footage horror film. You're watching this character that essentially is just some guy who's trying to flip a house that happens to have ghosts in it, and he doesn't care. And yet the movie feels more real because it is just made by some guy. It's weirdly surreal. In the attic, Tom finds a weird voodoo ritual circle and does what he does best, trashes it.
All this shit's gotta go.
As Tom gets ready to go to bed, the ghost uses this opportunity to come in through the back door, but Tom catches it.
Are you the former owners?
He's led upstairs back to the attic and finds a spilled urn, and we get some top-notch VFX here.
Not your home. Well, I got news for you. It is my home.
Yeah, f*** you, ghost.
You don't scare me. If you want me out of here, you better do more than paint and dirt.
Oh, shit.
Look, I'm not scared of you. You need to get out of my house. That's right, it's my house. Every penny I had, I put into this place. I'm not leaving. You're not scaring me out of here. And if it's a fight you want, bring it on.
Man, this guy does not give up. I love him. The ghost scurries out the front door of the house, and I can only assume that it ran out to its ghost Honda Accord in the driveway to grab its ghost baseball bat, because it just goes straight back in there and beats the ever-loving shit out of Tom in his own bed.
Oh, stop! No!
Now Tom's riled up, so he puts on his big boy pants, tosses the creepy drunk into the mud, and brings all the
signs of religion
back into the house.
Look what's back. The Lord's Prayer.
In the Bible, Tom finds a drawing by our ghost Ben, which depicts both a good Ben and a wait for it.
is bad Ben.
Hey, it took an hour, but by God, he said it. We can assume that Bad Ben is trapped inside of the basement, and perhaps the good Ben is the one that comes in from outside. So then Tom does the natural thing and becomes an exorcist for like 5 whole minutes.
No longer your home. It's time for you to cross over. Peace awaits you there.
Ben leaves the house again.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I banish you. Get out!
And Tom goes to sleep. The next day, we watch Tom get a lot of work done undisturbed by the ghost, and that is definitely as boring as it sounds. However, it does seem like he's gotten rid of the ghost and that all is well for the moment. After going out for dinner again, Tom laments everything that's happened on his way home and seems worried for the future.
Hopefully the problems here are behind me, because I don't know what to do. I got every penny I own in this house, and I gotta flip this or I'm destroyed.
Back at the house, Tom finds one of the dolls stabbed into the wall and remains fairly calm. Oh, that's the X.
This time you're mine. This is it. This is it. It's you and me this time.
Tom hacks his way into the basement door, and what do we see but Hulk? Tom is overwhelmed by the stench and the cold and finally finds the basement camera that he's longed for.
Here's our famous basement camera that doesn't work.
Something is wrong, though.
Well, something wanted out of here bad. Oh God, that don't look good. The fuck is this?
Tom gets attacked by Bad Ben as the chains in the room whip out. Tom runs, realizing what he's unleashed.
No, 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 please. No.
And that appears to be the end for our hero, Tom Riley. Or is it? Because there are 5 more films in this series, and maybe more to come. You know, as dumb as this movie is, I really do have to commend Nigel Bach here for what he's done. While the movie has pretty bad pacing and really isn't all that scary, I find Bad Ben to be thoroughly entertaining, mainly for Nigel Bach's performance and also just how down-to-earth the movie feels. And the guy made this movie essentially all by himself. There's a few names referenced in the credits, but really he's the one that looks like he's done all the work. Bad Ben released in 2016, so that means Nigel has put out 6 movies in 3 years, 6 feature films. That to me is just an incredible work ethic. Online, Nigel seems like a super nice guy and just loves to make movies, and I can't bash him for that at all. The other films are of varying quality, but I can attest to Bad Ben and Badder Ben. Yeah, that's the sequel. I can attest to Bad Ben and Badder Ben being fun, schlocky horror movies if you're interested in that sort of thing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a happy Halloween, and I'll see you again real soon.